In 1513, Niccolò Machiavelli wrote a letter from prison that would expose the deadliest weakness destroying men for centuries. Locked away in the Bargello prison, tortured and broken, he identified a pattern that had toppled Roman emperors, crushed medieval kings, and continues to bankrupt billionaires today. This weakness, it masquerades as virtue, it hides behind good intentions, and it ruins 90% of men who never see it coming. Before we dive deep into Machiavelli's wisdom, I want you to engage with me. Drop a comment right now and tell me, have you ever trusted someone who completely betrayed you? Someone who smiled to your face while sharpening the knife for your back? Also, let me know which country you're watching from. I love seeing our global community of men who refuse to be victims. This isn't just ancient history. Last month, a CEO lost his company because he trusted the wrong business partner. Yesterday, a man lost his savings to a friend who promised guaranteed returns. Right now, somewhere in the world, a good man is being manipulated by someone who spotted his weakness from a mile away. These aren't isolated incidents. They're symptoms of something deeper. Here's the brutal truth about 2025. The cost of stupidity has never been higher. In a world where information travels at light speed and every interaction is recorded, one stupid decision can destroy decades of progress. Social media amplifies mistakes. The internet never forgets, and predators have more tools than ever to exploit weakness. Why do you think nice guys finish last isn't just a cliché anymore? It's a survival warning. Because while you're playing by the old rules of kindness and fairness, others are playing chess while you're playing checkers. But here's what Machiavelli never told you in The Prince, and what most people miss entirely. These 6 signs aren't just about recognizing stupidity in others. They're about recognizing the stupid patterns in yourself before they destroy everything you've built. By the end of this video, you'll have a strategic framework that separates the predators from the genuine, the manipulators from the trustworthy. You'll learn to spot the wolves in sheep's clothing before they get close enough to bite. If this resonates with you, smash that like button right now. It tells YouTube's algorithm to show this to more men who desperately need this wisdom, because every man who learns these principles is one less victim in a world full of predators, ready to transform from prey into predator. Let's begin. Niccolò Machiavelli wasn't just a political theorist. He was a strategic genius who studied power for over 2 decades. While most people know him for The Prince, few understand that his insights came from watching men rise and fall in real time. He served in the Florentine Republic, negotiated with kings, and witnessed the collapse of leaders who made fatal strategic errors. The difference between The Prince and The Art of War: one teaches you how to gain power, the other teaches you how to keep it. But both books share one common thread. The deadliest enemy isn't the one who attacks you directly. It's the weakness within yourself that makes attack possible. Look at today's most successful leaders. Jeff Bezos didn't build Amazon by being the nicest guy in the room. Elon Musk doesn't make strategic decisions based on who likes him. Steve Jobs didn't revolutionize technology by seeking everyone's approval. They understood what Machiavelli knew: power respects power, weakness invites destruction. Here are the numbers that should terrify you. 73% of workplace betrayals happen between people who considered each other friends. The average person loses $1,847 annually to manipulative tactics they didn't recognize. And 89% of failed business partnerships could have been prevented if one person had recognized the warning signs earlier. But statistics don't capture the real cost. Imagine walking into a room full of wolves wearing sheep masks. They study your every move, listen to your every word, analyze your every weakness. While you're trying to be likable, they're calculating how to use you. The 6 signs I'm about to reveal aren't random traits. They're a strategic framework. Each sign, picture this. You're in a meeting with 5 other people. The CEO walks in, sits down, and says nothing for the first 10 minutes. He listens. He observes. He watches faces, body language, who speaks first, who interrupts whom, who defers to whom. Meanwhile, there's always that one guy, let's call him Kevin, who fills every silence. Kevin shares his weekend plans, his opinions on the quarterly results, his thoughts on the new coffee machine, his theory about why the market is shifting. Kevin thinks he's being engaging. Kevin thinks he's adding value. Kevin is actually giving everyone in that room a masterclass in how his mind works, what his insecurities are, and exactly how to manipulate him. Think about the most successful person you know. Niz, are they the loudest in the room? The ones commanding respect, building empires, closing deals. They speak last, not first. They ask questions that make others reveal themselves, while keeping their own cards hidden. This is sign number 2 of a stupid man. He talks more than he thinks. Every word you speak is intelligence you're giving away. The stupid man doesn't realize he's in a constant negotiation, not just for business deals, but for social position, romantic interest, professional advancement, even basic respect. When you overshare, you're not being authentic. You're being sloppy with classified information. Social media has made this epidemic. People broadcast their locations, their relationships, their financial struggles, their political opinions, their family drama. They think they're being real. They don't realize they're creating a database that anyone can use against them. In the workplace, the stupid man complains about his boss to colleagues who might be looking to advance. He shares his salary frustrations with people who could use that information in their own negotiations. He reveals his job search to the wrong person, and suddenly finds himself managed out. Here's a 10-second rule that will change everything. Before you speak, pause and ask yourself, how could someone use this information against me? If there's an answer, keep your mouth shut. The most dangerous conversations happen when you're emotional, angry, excited, frustrated, proud. That's when your filter comes down, and your real thoughts spill out. The stupid man thinks this emotional authenticity makes him trustworthy. The strategic man knows it makes him controllable. Powerful communication isn't about talking more, it's about getting others to reveal more, while you reveal less. Questions are weapons. What do you think about that? How did you handle that situation? What would you do if? Each question you ask is information you gather without giving any away. When someone asks you a direct question, you don't have to give a direct answer. That's interesting. What makes you ask? I'm curious about your perspective first. Before I answer that, help me understand. The power of strategic communication isn't in what you say, it's in what you make others say, when to reveal, when it serves a specific purpose, when you control the timing, when you can measure the impact, when to conceal, when you're emotional, when you don't understand the full context, when revealing gives others more power over you than it gives you over them. The stupid man thinks transparency equals honesty. The strategic man knows that honesty doesn't require stupidity. Comment below, Maze, what's one thing you revealed that you wish you hadn't? Let's learn from each other's mistakes. Speaking of revealing too much, let's talk about the deadliest giveaway of all. Alex posts a motivational quote on LinkedIn. He refreshes the page every 5 minutes, counting likes, reading comments, feeling his mood rise and fall with each notification. When his post gets only 12 likes, while his colleagues get 60, Alex deletes it and shares something safer, something everyone will agree with. At work, Alex nods enthusiastically during meetings, even when he disagrees with the strategy. When his boss asks for volunteers to work overtime, Alex's hand shoots up first. When colleagues make jokes at his expense, Alex laughs along, hoping his good humor will earn their acceptance. Alex is trapped in the approval matrix, and he doesn't even know it. This is the 4th sign of a stupid man, seeking validation over respect. Here's why validation seekers never gain real power. They've handed control of their self-worth to everyone else. One criticism ruins their day. One rejection destroys their confidence. One cold interaction sends them spiraling into self-doubt. Have you ever changed your opinion just to fit in? Drop a comment below, mice, because if you're honest with yourself, we've all sacrificed our authenticity for acceptance at some point. The validation seeker thinks he's being diplomatic. What he's actually being is invisible. Respect and likability operate on completely different currencies. Likability is earned by making others feel comfortable. Respect is earned by making others feel challenged. The likable man agrees with everyone. The respected man has opinions worth disagreeing with. Boundaries create respect because they force others to consider your value. When you say no to requests that don't serve you, when you hold firm on principles that matter to you, when you refuse to be swayed by group pressure, you become someone who cannot be taken for granted. The cost of being agreeable is invisibility. When you agree with everyone, you become no one. Your opinions carry no weight because everyone knows you'll change them to match the room. Your support means nothing because everyone knows you give it freely to whoever asks. Watch what happens when you stop seeking approval and start expressing authentic positions. Initially, some people will be uncomfortable. They're used to you being agreeable. But gradually, something shifts. Your words carry more weight because they know you mean them. Your support becomes valuable because it's not automatic. Your presence becomes significant because you're not just reflecting everyone else back to themselves. Internal validation comes from knowing your own standards and meeting them. External validation comes from hoping others will approve of you meeting theirs. The man who seeks internal validation asks, did I handle that situation according to my principles? Did I communicate clearly? Did I act with integrity? His self-worth is generated from within. The man who seeks external validation asks, did they like what I said? Do they think I'm smart? Are they impressed with me? His self-worth is generated by others' reactions. How do you become the standard others admire? You stop being a mirror and start being a lighthouse. A mirror reflects whatever is in front of it. A lighthouse projects its own light, regardless of the weather. Consider the difference between two types of leaders: the liked leader and the respected leader. The liked leader, like Canada's Justin Trudeau, focuses on being popular, making everyone feel good, avoiding difficult conversations. He's photogenic, agreeable, says what people want to hear. But when crisis hits, when tough decisions must be made, his likability becomes a liability because he cannot afford to disappoint anyone. The respected leader, Singapore's Lee Kuan Yew, focuses on results, makes hard decisions, speaks uncomfortable truths. He's not trying to be everyone's friend. He's trying to build something lasting. People may not always like his methods, but they respect his commitment to his vision. The liked leader changes with popular opinion. The respected leader shapes it. Which would you rather be? The person everyone likes, but no one takes seriously, or the person not everyone likes but everyone respects? But even respect won't save you if you're emotionally unstable. Here's why. Meet David. Talented software engineer. Works 60-hour weeks. Always volunteers for extra projects. When his colleague Sarah asks him to cover her weekend shift for the third time this month, he says yes immediately. When his manager dumps a failed project on his desk with an impossible deadline, David smiles and nods. When his girlfriend's friends need a free ride to the airport at 5 a.m., guess who's driving? David calls it being a good person. His colleagues call it Tuesday. This is the first sign of a stupid man, minus kindness without calculation. And it's destroying more lives today than any economic recession ever could. Machiavelli understood something that David doesn't. There are two types of kindness. Strategic kindness, minus the kind that builds alliances, creates loyalty, and positions you as valuable. And blind kindness, the kind that marks you as prey in a world full of predators. Strategic kindness has boundaries. It has conditions. It asks, what does this person do for me? Before asking, what can I do for them? Blind kindness gives endlessly, hoping that good karma will somehow balance the scales. Here's the brutal truth. Machiavelli learned in the political courts of Renaissance Italy, the world doesn't reward the kind, it uses them. Have you ever helped someone who never returned the favor? Comment below and tell me about it. Because if you're honest, we've all been David at some point. The kind man thinks his goodness is armor, but predators see it as a neon sign flashing, exploit me. Here's how manipulators identify their next victim. They don't look for the weak. Neither look for the giving. They test boundaries with small requests. Can you stay late tonight? Can you lend me $20? Can you help me move this weekend? The stupid man says yes to test their generosity. The strategic man says, what's in it for me? Not rudely, not coldly, but clearly. Watch for these 3 warning signs that someone is hunting your kindness. First, they escalate requests rapidly. Today it's covering their lunch tab. Next week it's co-signing their loan. Second, they never reciprocate without being asked. They take your help as their due, never offering help in return. Third, they guilt trip you when you hesitate. I thought you were my friend, they say, weaponizing your own compassion against you. In the workplace, these are the colleagues who dump their work on you while they take credit for the results. In relationships, these are the partners who expect you to solve their problems while contributing nothing to yours. In business, these are the clients who demand discounts, rush jobs, and extra services while paying slowly or not at all. The kind man enables this behavior because he believes that saying no makes him selfish. The strategic man knows that saying yes to everything makes him worthless. So how do powerful men show kindness without becoming targets? They make their kindness conditional, not transactional. Conditional, there's a difference. Take Marcus, a successful entrepreneur I know. When someone asks for his help, he doesn't immediately say yes or no. He says, tell me more about what you're trying to accomplish. Then he evaluates, is this person genuinely trying to grow, or are they looking for someone to carry them? Will helping them create mutual value, or just drain his resources? If someone wants his time for coffee to pick his brain, Marcus says, I'm happy to help. I have a consulting rate of $500 per hour, or we can explore how you might add value to one of my projects. Notice, he's not being cruel, he's being clear about the exchange. The powerful man's kindness comes with implicit reciprocity. He helps those who help others. He invests in those who invest in themselves. He shows loyalty to those who demonstrate loyalty. Here's the key distinction. The stupid man gives to be liked. The strategic man gives to build something valuable. The difference between respect and likability is this: people like those who make them feel good about themselves. People respect those who challenge them to become better. The stupid man chooses likability every time. He agrees when he wants to disagree. He helps when he wants to rest. He smiles when he wants to frown, all because he fears that showing his true boundaries will make people turn away. But here's what he doesn't realize. Those people were never really with him anyway. They were with his usefulness. The strategic man builds relationships based on mutual respect, shared values and reciprocal benefit. His relationships are fewer but deeper. His help is rarer but more valued. His kindness is remembered because it's not given to everyone. But recognizing predators is useless if you're broadcasting your weaknesses. Which brings us to sign number 2. Jake thought he'd found the perfect business partner. Mike had the right connections, the smooth pitch, the impressive LinkedIn profile. They shook hands over dinner, split the startup costs 50-50, and Jake even put Mike's name on the bank account, because trust is the foundation of any partnership. 6 months later, Jake discovered Mike had been billing personal expenses to their company card, steering contracts to his other businesses, and bad-mouthing Jake to potential investors. The bank account was empty. The partnership was over. Jake's dream was dead. I never saw it coming, Jake told me. He seemed so genuine. This is the third sign of a stupid man. He trusts without testing. Machiavelli wrote, men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, and few can feel. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few really know what you are. Trust in the hands of a wise man is a weapon, strategic, conditional, earned through trials. But the stupid man treats trust like a default setting. He gives it away like free samples, hoping that his good faith will inspire good faith in return. Machiavelli knew better. In Renaissance Italy, trusting the wrong person didn't just cost you money, it cost you your life. The principles haven't changed, only the stakes. Do you know someone who loans money to people they barely know? Someone who shares personal secrets with new friends? Someone who goes into business with people they met last month? That person is advertising their availability for exploitation. Here's how strategic men evaluate trustworthiness. 3 levels of trust, each requiring different proof. Level 1, acquaintance trust. This is surface-level reliability. Can they show up on time? Do they follow through on small commitments? Will they keep minor confidences? Test this with low-stakes interactions, lending a book, sharing non-critical information, making plans that don't cost much if they fall through. Level 2, ally trust. This is professional reliability. Will they support you when it benefits them? Can they handle shared responsibilities? Do they contribute fairly to mutual efforts? Test this with collaborative projects, shared goals, situations where their success depends on your success. Level 3, inner circle trust. This is personal loyalty. Will they protect your interests when you're not around? Can they handle your vulnerabilities without exploiting them? Will they sacrifice for you, even when it costs them? This level can only be tested through conflict, crisis, and time. Most people jump straight to level 3 trust, based on good feelings and smooth words. The strategic man makes people earn each level. Here are 5 micro-tests that reveal true character. First, give them a small responsibility and see how they handle it. Do they over-deliver or make excuses? Second, share a minor frustration about someone else and see if it gets repeated. Gossips can't be trusted with anything important. Third, observe how they treat people who can't help them. Waiters, assistants, people lower in the hierarchy. This reveals their core character. Fourth, introduce them to your network and watch what they do. Do they try to cut you out of relationships they form through you? Fifth, see how they handle conflict with you. Do they address issues directly or manipulate behind the scenes? The stupid man skips these tests because testing feels cynical. He wants to believe that people are fundamentally good, that trust creates trustworthiness, that giving someone the benefit of the doubt will make them worthy of it. But there's a difference between paranoia and prudence. The paranoid man trusts no one and builds nothing. The strategic man tests systematically and builds selectively. When to open up? After someone has passed multiple tests over time, when vulnerability serves a strategic purpose, when you can handle the worst-case scenario of betrayal. When to observe? In new relationships. During stressful periods, when someone's behavior doesn't match their words, when you notice inconsistencies in their story. The difference between paranoia and prudence is simple. Paranoia assumes the worst without evidence. Prudence requires evidence before assuming the best. Consider Sarah, a successful real estate investor. When potential partners approach her, she doesn't reject them immediately or accept them blindly. She starts small. Maybe they co-host a networking event together. If that goes well, they might collaborate on a single property flip. Only after multiple successful projects does she consider them for major developments. Trust but verify isn't just a Reagan quote, made as its survival strategy. In dating, this means not moving in together after 3 months, no matter how strong the connection feels. In hiring, this means checking references and starting with probationary periods. In friendship, this means not sharing your deepest secrets with someone you met at a conference last week. The stupid man calls this approach cold or calculating. The strategic man calls it protecting what matters most. Now, even if you master trust, there's one trait that instantly marks you as prey. Picture this. Tom gets cut off in traffic. His face turns red. He slams the horn, rolls down his window to shout at the other driver. At work, when his boss criticizes his presentation, Tom's voice gets defensive. His explanations become excuses. On social media, when someone disagrees with his political post, Tom fires off angry responses at 2 a.m. Tom thinks he's standing up for himself. Tom thinks he's being authentic. Tom doesn't realize he's broadcasting his emotional triggers to anyone paying attention. This is the fifth sign of a stupid man. Emotional reactions over strategic responses. And it's the reason smart people can easily manipulate him. When you react emotionally, you become predictable. Predictable men are controllable men. Your enemies learn exactly which buttons to push to make you do what they want. Whether that's losing your composure in a meeting, posting something stupid online, or making a decision while angry that you'll regret when calm. Have you ever sent a text in anger that you regretted? Most of us have. That moment of regret is your brain recognizing that emotion hijacked your strategy. The man who cannot control his emotions cannot control his fate, because his fate is determined by whoever can trigger his emotions. Machiavelli understood that emotional discipline was the foundation of all power. In The Prince, he wrote about leaders who fell because they acted in passion rather than calculation. Hot anger, he observed, makes for cold graves. Here's the principle that separates reactive men from strategic men. The space between stimulus and response is where your power lives. Someone insults you. That's the stimulus. Your response is anger, calmness, strategic silence. That's your choice. The reactive man collapses that space to zero. The strategic man expands it. The 24-hour rule for important decisions. When you feel a strong emotional urge to act on, whether it's sending that email, making that phone call, posting that response, wait 24 hours. If you still think it's the right move after your emotions have settled, then act. But you'll be amazed how often 24 hours of perspective changes everything. Here's a simple technique Navy SEALs use when under extreme stress. Box breathing. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, breathe out for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, repeat 4 times. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system and gives your rational mind time to regain control. But strategic emotional control isn't just about self-defense. It's about weaponization. The strategic man learns to feel without revealing, and to use others' emotional reactions against them. When someone is trying to anger you, and you remain calm, they often become more agitated. Their loss of control becomes your advantage. In negotiations, the person who loses emotional control loses leverage. In conflicts, the person who stays rational often wins simply by being the only one thinking clearly. Take Jeff Bezos during Amazon's early days, when investors and critics attacked him publicly, calling Amazon's business model unsustainable. Bezos never responded emotionally. He never defended himself on Twitter, never got into public arguments. Instead, he focused on execution. While his critics wasted energy on emotion, Bezos built the everything store. Or consider how Elon Musk handles criticism differently than most CEOs. When competitors attack Tesla, Musk doesn't engage in emotional back and forth. He lets the performance numbers speak. When media outlets write negative articles, he doesn't write angry responses. He posts memes that make the critics look humorless, while maintaining his position above the fray. The strategic man knows that others' emotions are intelligence. When someone gets angry, they reveal what matters to them. When someone gets defensive, they show their vulnerabilities. When someone attacks emotionally, they expose their fears. Share this with someone who needs to learn emotional control. Here's a case study in strategic versus reactive leadership. When Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans, reactive leaders panicked, blamed and made emotional appeals. But strategic leaders like Ray Nagin focused on logistics, resource allocation, and systematic response. The reactive leaders became part of the problem. The strategic leaders became part of the solution. Which brings us to the final and most destructive sign. Small changes create massive results when compounded over time. If you improve just 1% in each area every day, you'll be 37 times better in a year. That's not math hyperbole. That's exponential growth. Timeline for transformation. In 30 days, you'll notice yourself pausing before reacting. In 90 days, others will notice you're different. In 1 year, you'll be the man others come to for advice instead of the man others take advantage of. The men who transform are those who understand that Machiavelli's principles aren't about manipulation, they're about mastery. Mastery of yourself, your reactions, your relationships, and your results. Subscribe and hit the bell, because we're building an army of strategic men who understand that in a world full of people who react emotionally, blame others for their problems, and give their power away for validation, the man who thinks strategically has unlimited advantage. Just like Machiavelli wrote 500 years ago, everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. It's time to become someone worth experiencing. Now that you've seen all 6 signs, here's how to transform. Remember that letter Machiavelli wrote from the Bargello prison in 1513. Broken, tortured, stripped of everything he'd built, died, but not defeated. In that cell, he made a choice that would echo through centuries. He could either become bitter about his failures or become brilliant because of them. That same choice stands before you right now. You've seen the 6 signs, you've recognized patterns, some in others, some perhaps in yourself. But recognition without transformation is just expensive entertainment. Here's your fork in the road. You can close this video, go back to your comfortable patterns, and remain exactly where you are. Or you can accept the uncomfortable truth that growth requires becoming someone new. The victim looks at these 6 signs and thinks, that's everyone else's fault for being manipulative. The victor looks at these same signs and thinks, that's my blueprint for never being exploited again. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince to create more victims. He wrote it to create fewer of them. Before you go, I need to know which of these 6 signs hit closest to home. Drop a comment right now and tell me. Was it the kindness without calculation, the trusting without testing, the seeking validation over respect? Your honesty could be the warning another man needs to hear. If this video opened your eyes to patterns you didn't see before, smash that like button. It tells YouTube's algorithm to show this wisdom to more men who desperately need it. Every view could save someone from making the same mistakes. Share this with one friend, that guy who always gets taken advantage of, who trusts too quickly, who gives too much. Don't just think about him, actually send him this link. Because friendship isn't just enjoying someone's company, it's protecting them from their own blind spots. And if you want to go deeper into Machiavellian strategy, hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. Next I'm revealing 6 signs of a dangerous man, Machiavelli's power playbook. The traits that make others instinctively respect and fear crossing you. Knowledge without application is powerless, but applied knowledge, that's how ordinary men become extraordinary. The responsibility that comes with this awareness is simple. Use it wisely. In a world full of wolves wearing sheep masks, don't be the sheep who gets devoured. Be the shepherd who protects what matters. As Machiavelli wrote, everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. It's time to become someone worth experiencing.